Welcome everyone to another episode of the Lore Pod Podcast. I'm your host Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're going to be diving back into the world of Halo. We're going to be talking about the lore of Halo, the Assault on Earth. No, that's not a damn game. That is actually the name of what happened. The event that happened started in Halo 2. You saw happen and come to an end in Halo 3, also Halo 3 ODST, and a couple books here and there as well. So let's dive into a little bit of background though before this. Of course, so if you know the world of Halo, you know before this, humanity was at war with the Covenant, a multi-species alien army, basically religious crazy-ass freaks who planned on using ancient alien technology for a runner tech, like the Halos, to start the Halos and then also fucking wipe out intelligent life in the galaxy and then cleanse it, thinking they're gonna go to the Holy Land. Sound familiar? But the Covenant was multiple different species, though, that were gathered in for this. Of course, the Prophets were the ones that were in charge, scrawny, skinny old fuckers in robes who sat in floating chairs. Now, one of these prophets, though, plotted a strike on Earth, but actually he betrayed the elites at this time as well. A lot of shit really happened very incredibly fast. Now, this prophet did plan, the prophet of truth, plotted a strike on Earth, but in the process, like I said, he betrayed the elites and was replacing them in the command of the brutes, big apey kind of aliens, while the elites were reptilians with mandibles sort of shit. But the elites were serving him for the 30 years of war and was the main in command. The brutes, though, fucking love this. Now, the Prophet of Regret discovered Earth's location from a destroyed human colony, Iridium, just a year earlier, because, well, the Covenant were actually really fucking smart, and they didn't just destroy shit and move on. They actually went in and dissected the human technology, as we did with theirs, and humans, but they went in and would go through old technology, and that was actually a protocol on for Earth very quickly. The protocol was to make sure there was no ties for any ship. It had to delete every history, everything of Earth. No tie-in whatsoever. It's really cool. But I guess the destruction of the colony happened too quick, and he was able to find Earth from there. But it should be clear, they did not know that Earth was the human world, actually. But during this whole human colony invasion attack and then Forerunner tech being discovered there, the Prophet discovered that there was a portal on Earth, and it was also called Earth, this is that on our planet, leading to the place called the Ark. And that is the place where you activate and control all the Halo rings in the universe. Basically a very important spot in Halo 3. Now, the Prophet took the fleet of Sacred Concentration, which just was actually 15 vessels in total, to storm the planet and take the portal from it for himself, betraying the other prophets and doing his own thing, like, fuck you, I'm gonna go there first, I'm gonna activate it, I'm gonna go to the Holy Land, screw you guys, other prophets and everybody else, which is why it was only 15 vessels when the invasion of Reach was about 50 times that. Now, on October 20th, 2552, Master Chief Cortana and Sergeant Johnson arrived from their mission on Halo 1, which maybe we'll talk about later, to debrief what actually fucking happened with the flood, keys, all that happened, and how the hell they got back. Admiral Terrence Hood, voiced by Ron Perlman, was in charge of Earth's home fleet and orbital defense. Now, Chief Johnson and Cortana were on an orbital station during the attack, actually, when the fleet just randomly arrived and was probably like, holy shit, there's humans here. They didn't know. They're like, oh, okay, at least it's here. Like, all right, cool. But then they're like, oh God, there's a lot more humans here than we would have thought. And by the way, I should make it clear, this is Earth. Earth is humanity's last stand. At this point, I want to say, yeah, you're almost looking at 100, 200 maybe. Planets are lost at this point. Colonies have been glassed, which is basically like a constant nuke coming from a ship. But they've been glassed. They've been invaded. Trillions dead. Like, it's insane. And so they're like, Earth is it? We have a few scattered people throughout the galaxy, but other than that, like, that's it. Humanity will probably go extinct. But due to the trio, though, being on that orbital defense platform and such, they were actually able to destroy a Covenant super carrier, which is one of their ships times 20. Now, Amanda Keyes, the daughter of Captain Keyes from Halo 1, captain the ship was Johnson, and they were joined by Chief and Cortana, giving the Covenant back their bomb first, of course. But of course, they went planet side to chase the Prophet, who actually during this time, once he got past her a little bit, began his on-ground invasion of the African city New Mombasa. Probably because, well, he knew that's where the device was that he was looking for. But it was only some ships that were able to break through the defenses and invade, specifically a main ship. Now, the Prophet, fearing for his life as his forces were slowly getting defeated, and the Chief was coming for him, and he fucking knew it, actually used a source of information from before that they were finally able to get dissected, like perfect timing, and find the locations of the remaining Halos. So using the information he had, again, perfect timing for that person to crack the code. The ship then slip-spaced, which is going into hyperspace. Like, it opens up a portal, goes in the slip space there, and it caused a giant fucking massive explosion that happened. EMP and everything. The Prophet left behind a boat ton of his troops, equipment, tanks, ships like Banshees and stuff, left it all behind to carry on the mission looking for the device to activate the Halos. Talk about a dick of a leader. Now, he was followed by, of course, the main crew in their ship in a Amber-class attack ship. Now, after glassing, the artifact was revealed. And it's because, well, there was a big battle that did happen, though, after they did leave. So after they left, though, there was a lot of Covenant forces still left behind. Now, a little bit, though, beforehand. So there's a little bit of stuff that did happen before this. Now, right before the battle, though, New Mombasa engineers worked with City AI and suspected that there was actually weird devices of some kind, weird something there underneath the city. And yes, the city did have an AI to help control it, Virgil, who was awesome. But Virgil, the AI, was actually fused with an engineer, a big floating mass with tentacles and stuff and eyes that were incredibly intelligent, friendly, and had bombs strapped to them because they're too friendly and the Covenant needed them to help fix their stuff. They were great, hence the name engineers. They were able to actually heal vehicles, equipment, all that shit with their bodies. So they were very well used by the Covenant as slaves. But an engineer actually did fuse itself to Virgil, though, getting all the information that it needed about the Forerunner artifacts and more. Now, this was actually something that Oni was very much interested in and did get word about due to some data and a little more evidence that they're able to find. Kind of still unclear about that, how they actually knew about Virgil. All we knew, Oni sent an operative Dare with Alpha 9, a group of ODSTs. And if you remember, ODSTs are the ones who get into a pod and then drop from the ship, land on a planet's surface, jump, and then the door will pop open and they run fucking first feed into there. Now, Alpha 9, though, and Oni, operative Dare, actually went towards the engineer. So their goal was to actually get the engineer, head out, and get the fucking information he has out of there. But the engineer is located at the Hive databanks, which were located underground. So there's a whole thing, and Oni Dare did not tell Alpha 9 about this either. Now, they did drop ODSTs. Originally, we're told, and there was a shit ton more ODSTs besides Alpha 9, by the way. The whole ODST battalion were actually sent and dropped in. They were supposed to land inside the Prophet of Regret's ship and take them and hopefully end the fucking war. Although he did slip space, though, threw off the mission. Oni Dare actually was having the squad move a little bit more to the right where they needed to go until at the last minute, throwing a whole squad off, and then the slip space ain't doing it as well. Now, that leads us into the story of Halo 3 ODST, which we'll cover another time. And Alpha 9, though, were actually the only survivors of the ODSTs that did drop. Alpha 9 consists of Buck, Rookie, Mickey, Dutch, and Romeo. Now, Rookie and Dare, though, did eventually meet up after the Rookie did a whole investigation thing and shit. Again, we're going to cover ODST later. And they actually were able to save the engineer and meet up with the rest of Alpha 9 and Buck, and were able to take the engineer, Virgil, to a space station where Sergeant Johnson actually did interrogate it. Now, during this time, though, the elites were, of course, being betrayed by them, but there were still elites on the ground with these forces that the Prophet took. So you can actually, in Halo 3 ODST, see that the elites were left behind were actually killed. That's right, you actually see dead elites, and it's a whole, like, what the fuck is going on here? But it came out after Halo 3 and 2, so you knew what was going on. Well, the rest of the world did not. But somehow Oni did, because of course, why not, right? Now, after Alpha 9 does escape, though, well, that's when other Covenant ships did arrive. That's right. And all this happens within like a day. That's an ODST happens overnight. A day and overnight. Like, it is a wild, I think maybe 2 days it takes place. But then once Alpha 9 leaves, the Covenant ships arrive, breaking through the fences, and they glass the city, turn it into ruins, and keep digging using the glassing technique. Again, it's an energy beam shot from a ship hovering above constantly into the ground. It's basically a constant fucking nuke. And that thing, and they dig, and they're able to uncover the portal to the Ark. And that is the story of the assault on Earth, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the LorePod podcast. If you did, be sure to subscribe and listen wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it might be. Leave a review wherever you're listening as well, too. Helps the show out greatly. My social media is going to be in the description box down below, like my Twitch, CodaRex97, Instagram at Dakota_Morgan97, and X at DakotaMorgan3. Thank you, everybody, and of course, as always, stay creative.